Okay, ready for this? When the Washington Times, not Post, the Times, is reporting how the Trump administration has lost military support, you know it's a dire state of affairs out there.
In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
On September 30th, Colonel Douglas Krugman resigned his post after serving 24 years in the Marine Corps under 4 different presidents.
That's right. In a sentence that I never thought I would say out loud, the Washington Times, that conservative paper, just published a story saying that the U.S. military has, quote, lost faith in the Trump administration's Pentagon. According to the report, top generals and senior officers say trust in Secretary Hegseth in particular has just, quote, evaporated. They describe an atmosphere of paranoia, public grandstanding, and political purges. One senior commander told the paper, quote, the focus is no longer on readiness, it's on spectacle. No way. They're not referring to a leader of the Bud Light Brigade rocking the Star-Spangled Pocket Square, are they?
Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the Joint Force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our Joint Force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already, but we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, guard, and reserve. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Move out and draw fire. Because we are the War Department.
Piece goes on to detail a cascade of firings, forced retirements, and micromanaged operations that have simply shredded morale inside the Pentagon and amidst the American people. That chaos has spilled out publicly, right? Admiral Alvin Halsey, head of the U.S. Southern Command, recently quit amid disputes over Caribbean boat strikes.
Venezuela, obviously you've been very focused on this. President Trump has authorized military strikes against suspected drug boats in the Caribbean. As you know, so far more than 20 people, Senator, have been killed in 6 different strikes. Do you believe that these strikes against these suspected drug boats are legal?
No, they go against all of our tradition. You know, when you kill someone, you should know if you're not at war, not in a declared war, you really need to know someone's name at least. You have to accuse them of something. You have to present evidence. So all of these people have been blown up without us knowing their name, without any evidence of a crime. And for decades, if not centuries, when you stop people at sea in international waters or in your own waters, you announce that you're going to board the ship and you're looking for contraband, smuggling, or drugs. This happens every day off of Miami, but we know from Coast Guard statistics that about 25% of the time the Coast Guard boards a ship, there are no drugs. So if our policy now is to blow up every ship we suspect or accuse of drug running, that would be a bizarre world in which 25% of the people might be innocent. But if they want all-out war where we kill anybody and everybody that is in the country of Venezuela or coming out, that has to have a declaration of war. It's something that is not pretty, very expensive, and I'm not in favor of declaring war on Venezuela, but the Congress should vote. The president shouldn't do this by himself.
Days before that, Marine Colonel Doug Krugman resigned after 24 years of service, saying that he just could no longer serve a chain of command that disrespects the oath.
Writing, quote, this president acts as though one election makes 236 years of constitutional order irrelevant. Instead of trying to work within the Constitution or to amend it, President Trump is testing how far he can ignore it.
Morality is very much a personal choice. It's shaped by society. It's shaped by religious beliefs. But for me, the pardon on his first day of his second term of the January 6th rioters, insurrectionists, was a moral line for me. The oath is to defend the Constitution. That group of people tried to storm the Capitol. We're chanting for the death of elected leaders, and we're trying to keep our Congress from performing its constitutional role. So his choice on his inauguration day was first step that week that led me to decide by that Friday I was going to retire from the military this year.
Well, let me guess. They're just woke, right? And the thing is, as to be expected, the response from inside of said burning building was as Trumpy as they come. Sean Parnell, Hegseth's own spokesperson, went on record lashing out at the anonymous senior officers who have criticized Hegseth, saying, quote, "Our warriors deserve senior leaders who support the mission and put war fighting first." The anonymous general and senior officer quoted should put their names to their comments and consider resigning from their post. So in other words, not only is the trust completely gone, they're just daring those who don't want to sit around and hear how U.S. cities will be used as training grounds for the military to quit.
Important mission. And I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
The president also said at the Pentagon yesterday that he wants American cities to be used as training grounds for the American military. Is this the highest and best use of the U.S. military, and is this the right way to train them?
I don't serve in the Pentagon. I run the House of Representatives. And what we need to be talking about today is real harm that the American people are going to feel because of what Chuck Schumer is doing. Let me tell you what's
well, hold on a second. As Speaker of the House, do you,
let me, no, answer the question.
As Speaker of the House, do you believe it's appropriate to use American cities as training grounds for the U.S. military, calling those people in the American cities the enemy within? I'm asking you, as Speaker of the House, do you think that's appropriate?
I'm not going to comment on your characterization of what the president said. I didn't get to see that speech because I was a little busy yesterday. Well, you can take his quotes out of context, which you often do, and I don't think that's fair to the president.
Doesn't exactly ooze leadership, does it? Now you pair that with what is happening outside of the barracks, the numbers. Trump's approval continues to plummet, especially when people take into consideration how he is using, or in other ways, abusing the U.S. military.
Duty U.S. military, 61%. The National Guard in particular, 58%. When you get 3 in 5 Americans agreeing on anything, you know if that is on the opposition side, it's a political loser. And among independents, who are, of course, that key block in the middle of the United States political electorate, we're talking about 2/3 of independents there and about who oppose the deployment of either active duty U.S. military or National Guard into U.S. cities.
What are the questions that people are asking, or what are the issues they see with these deployments?
Okay, look, I think it's that they don't buy Donald Trump's case for why these troops must go into the U.S. cities. So the New York Times essentially gave you a two-pronged little answer here, right? Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate rivals, or big city crime will spiral out of control if the troops don't go into cities. What you see here is the majority that takes the case is that Trump may use the National Guard to intimidate political rivals at 51%. Just 42% of Americans agree with the Donald Trump stance that, in fact, big city crime will spiral out of control if the National Guard doesn't go into U.S. cities. So essentially what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's making a case, the Democratic opposition's making another case, and the Democratic opposition's case is winning here. And that is a big reason why what you see is you get about 3 in 5 Americans saying they don't want troops going into U.S. cities.
His approval is at a mere 41%, with 56% disapproving of the job he's doing. He's underwater in every major battleground state. Negative margins are showing up in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Georgia. And if you think that the Washington Times calling out how trust is eroding within the ranks is bad, which it is, get a load of Fox News discussing the cost of living going up.
Fair of Texas. It is underway. It is in Dallas, and Max Gordon is there for us. You're talking to fair goers. I want to know how they rate the Trump economy. I'm not interested in what the cow thinks.
Well, Stu, that's good that you're not interested in what the cow has to say, because there's no comment from Buttercup Fletcher here, the grand champion steer at the State Fair of Texas. The humans that we talked to today, though, they, for the most part, have agreed with President Trump's economic policies, though there are some lingering concerns about tariffs as well as food prices. Take a listen to what folks had to say here. What are your biggest challenges right now?
Groceries. Eggs aren't getting any cheaper. You know, I have a 21-year-old son. My daughter's pregnant, and milk is $4, $5 a gallon. And it's just, eating is the hardest part. It's almost becoming cheaper to eat out.
The eggs went from $2 to $9. I'm like, okay, when did we get here?
That's the only downside right now is somebody to pay more to get more groceries.
I mean, they're going up, but
coffee prices are soaring more than any other product tracked by the government. But few customers are actually giving it up, saying they can't function without their café Joe. The data shows roasted coffee prices are up 21.7% from this time last year, and instant coffee is up over 20% from a year ago. Officials say the increases are due to new imports and tariff costs.
And it is Americans, importers, who are paying these tariffs. I mean, it's been talked a lot about how China is paying the tariffs and Mexico is paying the tariffs. It's American importers who are paying these tariffs. And maybe that's going to change. Maybe people will pick domestic options. But for now, what you have is, as was talked about in the piece, a lot of people trying to get different categorizations, exemptions.
Well, they're just lying. Oh, while we send billions to Argentina and Hume are buying their beef, while American farmers are struggling to keep their head above water.
Are you angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump. Period.
Soybeans are the largest agricultural export from the U.S. Last year, the value was more than $24 billion. China bought 52% of those soybeans. Since May, the country has placed 0 orders. Instead, China bought the bulk of its soybeans from South American countries like Brazil and Argentina. The cost to produce soybeans has also increased. Prices for fertilizer and fuel have also edged up as a result of Trump's global tariffs and higher international demand.
But hey, not to worry, everyone. Things are fine. You'll get a lovely new East Wing to look at. And I'll save you the time, right? It'll just mirror that one place that Epstein loved to frequent.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.